Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
PD Beats here from Popternative, speaking to Maxwell Whittington-Cooper about Grease: Rise the Pink Ladies on Paramount Plus. Welcome to the show, man. It's so good to see you again.
Thank you, Pete. Thanks for having me, man.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I feel like the mindsets are going to be different. I mean, when you do like the premiere and the press junkets where it's kind of like calm before the storm and everything, you know, you don't really know what to expect. Episodes are rolling out. People are enjoying it. What's it like now that a lot of the episodes are out and people can see them?
It's wild. Honestly, it still feels surreal. You know what I mean? Because we spent 7 months shooting this. It really was sort of our love letter to Grease and kind of felt like our baby. So now that it's out in the world, it feels surreal. But it's amazing to see like the fan edits and the fan reactions and the fan predictions of like what's going to come based off of the episodes everyone has seen.
You know, I had a lot of predictions and a lot of questions.
I know. And you were on the money for a lot of them, to be honest with you.
It's so weird too. Talking to, you know, yourself and like other people that like work on these shows, it's like you're also in, I don't think some people realize that you're also in the same situation sometimes as the fans. Like you sometimes don't know, you know what I mean?
Absolutely, 100%. I honestly feel like that way with episode 7, which just dropped today, because I haven't seen a single scene from it. So going into it, obviously I read the script, but going into it, I have no idea what to expect visually.
Does your mindset kind of change whether it's kind of like the acting scenes of Wally or like the singing scenes? Because like obviously kind of different like, preparations a little bit, you know, but is it all kind of storytelling for you specifically? Because there's a bit of both, right? You have to go and sing, you have to go and act, dance. Like I'm just curious if there's kind of different mindsets for each.
I would say at the end of the day, it really is all storytelling, but I would say it's very different technically and kind of what you were leading into. It's different in how you prepare for it. So for a scene, obviously I'm going into the emotional aspect of it and sort of the relationships of who I'm interacting with in the scene. Whereas when it's a musical number, it's like, okay, what are the dance moves? What marks do I have to land on? What are the lyrics of the song? Are there any sort of like CGI elements that we have to deal with? Because a lot of the musical numbers in the series are kind of fantasy moments.
Yes.
It takes a lot more technicality when it comes to the musical moments.
100%. And it's interesting too, because I feel like your answer to this question might be like you're still learning, but like with your character Wally, was there a moment when you were filming this where you were like, I kind of understand this character, I know what's kind of happening, or did you feel like you were learning kind of every week more about this character?
I was definitely learning because as you've seen throughout the episodes, you really don't see that much of Wally in the first half of the season. Mm-hmm. So for me, I was sort of figuring it out along the way and kind of trying to use the script as like breadcrumbs of like, okay, he's having this reaction to this or he's experiencing this, why? And trying to interrogate that and fill it in with backstory. And I would have a lot of conversations with our showrunner Isabel about that of, you know, where's Wally coming from in this scene? Yes. Or why or how would he react to what's going on?
There's so many questions all the time, too, with what you get, right? And you're like, totally. I'm sure there's always those questions. Okay, what if he went this route? You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Exactly. And it would completely alter the story as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you did you see yourself in kind of a unique opportunity, like a unique situation where you were cast for this, where you had familiar territory and unfamiliar territory to work with? I mean, you know, the greatest musical of all time, Grease, people know the track record, but like, you know, this is kind of like a prequel. This is kind of, Rydell High and everything, but we don't know a lot of these characters and everything. So you know a lot, but at the same time, you have no idea. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did you think about that at all?
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Because you had familiarity, obviously, with the Grease universe. Everyone loves this iconic franchise. But like you said, it's a prequel with all new characters. And it's a different take on sort of the Grease universe. You're seeing a lot of characters and people who existed in the 1950s, but didn't necessarily have that mainstream spotlight on them. So it was uncharted territory of how do you tell those stories within the context of Grease.
100%. You know already how I feel about the cinematic kind of components of the show because I couldn't stop talking about it. So
Absolutely.
You know, but I'm going to tell my viewers that in terms of eye candy, visuals, the costumes, the sets, what it looks like, there's not much competition, man. Like, this is up there for shows that I've seen. Like, it's insane,
I agree.
man.
Yeah, it was an absolute wonderland shooting this project. Like you said, from the costumes to the cinematography, everyone really was on board of making, like you said, a cinematic masterpiece. And we felt that, I think, from the moment we stepped on set. Our showrunner Annabelle really went to great lengths of making sure that the storyline across all 10 episodes felt like almost a 10-hour-long film. Alethea Jones, our producing director, really shot in a very ambitious cinematic way. Like, we had a lot of continuous takes. We were dancing with the camera. Sometimes they would stop. They'd be like, oh, man, like, you're halfway in the shot. You got to, like, move in. So that was something that I think we all had to get accustomed to and learn about. But the end product is stunning. It's undeniable.
Oh, my God. So good. It's literally one of those, like, wow shows. Like, you look at it, you're like, whoa. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I even was blown away when I saw it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it feels good. Like, it's a feel-good show just to watch and see everything. And, like, especially, like, in the first couple episodes with, like, the whole T-Birds, like, the new cool, like, you're like, what is happening?
Mesmerizing. Literally.
It's amazing. And, like, Dot's sleepover, like, or, like, party. Like,
yeah. In episode 2, which was the first thing that we shot. That was actually what we shot first. And then we kind of backtracked back into episode 1.
It's so crazy too. So, it's interesting because, the episodes are kind of rolling on and people get to see and everything. One thing that I've kind of noticed, and I watch a lot of shows, I feel like, with this lens now, Maxwell, just because of the pandemic and everything. We were kind of at home for like 3 years, not doing anything, doing a lot of self-reflection, soul-searching and everything. We look at shows like Grease, Rise of the Pink Lady, and all the characters like Wally and Rydell High. They're all trying to figure things out, right? Slice of life, coming of age. They're all kind of doing soul-searching, self-reflection. I feel like because we were all doing a lot of like figuring things out and thinking about things, I feel like we watch a show like this and it instantly becomes more relatable because we were doing self-reflection like a lot of the characters in Grease. Do you know what I mean by that a little bit?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And I think that's what's so special about this series. I think literally any viewer can look on screen and see themselves reflected in the story. And that, I think, is something that's so special and so rare and so needed. You know what I mean? And I felt that in reading the script. So I'm hoping, and I'm seeing honestly already, that fans and viewers are seeing that as they watch the series roll out.
There's a lot of different scenes, like your character. There's also like the pep rally and everything, specifically the Rydell High scenes, the school scenes. What are kind of those scenes like? And is there an overall kind of like energy that's kind of like similar every time you shoot it, or does it change differently? Because I feel like those will always be positive energy, I would assume, because everyone's around and like everyone's walking around. Like, what are those scenes like specifically?
Those scenes are a blast because usually you have almost the full cast. You have a lot of the BG who were on the show for the entire run of the 7 months we were shooting. Yeah. So we got really familiar and friendly with them, which was awesome. And we have this thing of like Grease energy. So like before every take, we'll have someone like yell out. It's usually Lemon, who's phenomenal, part of our crew. She'll scream out like, Grease energy, y'all, Grease energy. And so it really has like this kind of bubbly, electric energy on set when we do those Rydell High scenes, because they're just, everyone's there, and it feels kind of like you're back in high school. You know what I mean? At your own pep rally.
You know what's so crazy too is, and it was actually one of the first things that people saw, and it starts episode 1, but like Grease is the World, like that was like they put that out Paramount Plus. People saw that whole sequence, right? Yeah. I've been thinking about this. Grease by Frankie Valli is like one of my favorite songs of all time.
It's iconic.
Like it's really one of my favorites. Like it's up there. Like if I would give you like a list like top 10 songs of all time, it's in there. Like I actually didn't realize that, dude. I didn't even realize how much it's so funny because I literally like even before kind of Grease was kind of announced and stuff, that was like in my Spotify rap for like 4 years.
Wow, I love. Oh, so you've been waiting for this series to drop. I love that.
And like Beauty Queen drop. Like I just love the whole soundtrack, man. It's so good. I know.
I do too. Yeah, no, Grease is the Word is definitely a favorite of mine. I also love You're the One That I Want. That's like a big hit for me. And I love that the series opened with Grease is the Word, because I feel like it served as the perfect bridge between the Grease that everyone knows and loves and this prequel series, because it's sort of like, welcome to the Grease world that you know, that you're familiar with, and here's a twist on it. Here's how our favorite Pink Ladies gang came to be.
Would Maxwell Whittington-Cooper like to know PD Beats' ultimate karaoke song list right now? Are we doing this right now? Would you like to know because I have it. Okay?
I need to know.
All right.
Absolutely.
Since you've been gone, Kelly Clarkson.
Ooh, come on now.
All the small things, Blink-182.
Wow.
Living on a Prayer, Bon Jovi.
Wow. I need to hear these now. We got to hit karaoke at one point.
I'm just saying, like, those are the best ones to do karaoke with. And those 3 songs, like, I'm telling you, if you ever go do karaoke, pop on some Kelly Clarkson and some Blink-182. Because, like...
and you're a hit.
Yeah. What are your favorite... I mean, you've done some karaoke here and there, right?
Here and there, exactly. Yeah. For sure.
I used to be like here and there, and then I did it once and I loved it. And then, like, even before the pandemic,
and you were
my crew was going like every 2 weeks. It was awesome.
I love that. Oh, I'm trying to think. What are my go-to karaoke songs?
I mean, they're good times. I mean, you can go to karaoke with a cast, or maybe Top Golf.
Oh my! I would love Top Golf. I need to work on my swing, but I'm always ready for Top Golf.
No, it's just like what is your go-to karaoke song on top of your head?
Yeah, my go-to karaoke song. Honestly, I love a good "Shallow" by Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga. Like that one's a classic.
But you got to do that. That's like a duet, right?
Exactly, because I like to involve other people.
Depending who you're with, if you organize, you might have an idea. But if you're just kind of like someone invited you, you have to scope out the room and be like, "Who's gonna say this?"
Well, right, exactly. You can't have someone throwing off your pitch or anything.
I can totally see that. I can totally see you like. I've done that too. Like I'm like, who am I gonna do the duet with? You know what I mean? You know, it's also a good one too. I don't know if it was like a big one-hit wonder by a band called Chumbawamba. Do you remember the song "I Get Knocked Down" and I Get Up Again?
Of course.
That's a great one for karaoke.
That's like a childhood classic. I feel like that was in like every movie growing up.
Oh yeah, so good. It's so funny though because I remember. Do you remember on Disney Channel the movie Max Keeble's Big Move? Do you remember that movie?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. There was all those songs you were talking about, like bands like Bowling for Soup and like all those, they're all in there, right? Like
100 Chasing Cars by Snow Patrol, like all those songs.
So many good songs.
Whenever I hear those songs, I get transported back to my childhood instantaneously.
I love music so much, man. We've talked about this. It's just, and that's why it's like it's a dream come true, though, right? To work on a show where music is it's a dream come true for you, right?
No, it's truly a dream come true. And I remember when the project was announced, I remember seeing like, wow, they have Dua Lipa and Justin Bieber songwriter Justin Tranter on the hits. You have Jamal Sims on the iconic dance moves. You have Alethea Jones directing and Annabelle Oakes. And I was like, this is a dream team. This is such an iconic franchise. As an audience member, I can't wait to see what they do with this. So I was like, even if I'm not a part of it, I can't wait to see it. So when I got the audition, when I got the director session, when I got the role, I was over the moon.
Okay, when you spoke to Popternative for the junket, you said that you sang a Billie Eilish song. Some of your cast were saying that they sang a song, but then they also had to do a Justin song as well. Did you also have to do a Justin song as well?
No, I didn't actually. I submitted the Billie Eilish song, Everything I Wanted.
Okay.
And then they forwarded it to Justin. Okay. And he was like, I'm on board. They were like, I'm in. Yeah. And I was like, oh, wow, that's like the biggest honor I've ever heard.
Oh, man. Okay, so, episodes rolling out on Paramount Plus, Grease Rise, Pink Ladies. For a wrap-up, they're going to get a chance to see this. There's a lot of takeaways here. There's a lot of important kind of messages with the characters. It's a fun time and everything. I'm hoping that you can give me kind of an answer that, like, has a little bit of everything. But what do you hope they'll get out of it when they watch Grease Rise, the Pink Ladies on Paramount Plus, like takeaway-wise, the audience?
I hope people have a lot of fun.
Yep.
I hope they dance and sing along to the musical numbers. I hope they see themselves in at least one of the characters on screen. Mm-hmm. And ultimately, I hope that they learn to embrace their quirks, embrace what sets them apart and makes them an individual, because that'll lead to their best lives. That'll lead to a life full of joy and excitement. And I feel like when you do that, you will also attract people that will enhance your life. And I feel like that's the undercurrent of the entire show.
That was a home run and Top Golf answer. Let me tell you.
Let's go. I toppled the Angry Bird castle. Yeah.
That was awesome. Maxwell, so great catching up. Thank you so much for coming on Popternative, man. I really appreciate it.
Likewise, PD. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.
Your Instagram account, that's the best way for people to keep up to date with everything, right?
Totally, yeah. Maxwell WC on IG.
Amazing. Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. You can, of course, catch Maxwell Whittington-Cooper as Wally in Grease, Rise of the Pink Ladies. Episodes rolling on Paramount+. Till next time, this is Maxwell. I'm PD Beats, signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.